Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 4 of the Wrestling Rundown. I am your host, the Bird Guy, the Wrestling Rundown Undisputed World Heavyweight Champion. And I know I'm flying solo this week. There's a reason for that. We were supposed to do the show Wednesday, but unfortunately, what happened is I had a death in the family, so people had. So I kind of had to change my schedule around and try to work in the show. I tried to work it in yesterday, but I was just much too tired because I had done schoolwork all day and I didn't eat till like 8 o'clock at night and stuff. So, yeah, I pretty much was just much too tired to do a video. By the time I had any free time, it was like 9 o'clock at night. And I'm like, I'm way too tired for this shit. I'm going to wait. So I'm doing it now. And no, I don't know anything that happens at the Greatest Royal Rumble event. And I haven't seen any spoilers. So please, if you're watching this in the comments, do not spoil any of the show. Well, hopefully, if you do comment, I would have already seen the show. But for now, try to leave any comments out of this. But let's get to this episode. So I've decided that in this episode, since I'm flying solo, I'm going to try to kind of do this a little bit more quickly because obviously it will be boring for one guy talking about a ton of stuff for a while. So let's talk about this episode of the Wrestling Rundown. Well, let me talk about the topics. I fucked up. I'm going to be reviewing this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. I'm going to be reviewing SmackDown. I'm going to be reviewing 205 Live. I'm not going to be reviewing NXT. We're going to do me and my friends are going to do a follow-up episode because they couldn't make it today because they probably already seen the Greatest Royal Rumble event and stuff. We're going to do a follow-up episode on Sunday so we can review the Greatest Royal Rumble, NXT, and probably the Bruno Sammartino documentary. Just because if I do it here, it won't really feel as special. But I'm going to review Raw, SmackDown, and 205 Live. So let's get this started. Obviously, I'm going to start off with Raw since it was the first show out of the three. I kind of like to go in order. So let's talk about Monday Night Raw from this week. So Monday Night Raw took place on April 16th, 2018. I think that date is wrong because I didn't update the date. I think it might be like April. Yeah, I think it was April 20th actually. No, it wasn't April. Yeah, I think it was April 20th. So I screwed up. I think I screwed up the date because I believe that was not the right date. No, it was April 23rd, 2018. That makes more sense but sometimes mistakes happen. We had Corey Graves, Michael Cole, and Booker T on commentary. Not Josh Matthews. Jonathan Coachman, they said was doing something for a golf game. So that's why Booker T took his place. Since I didn't watch the show, doing a live reactions to it, I really didn't notice a difference with Booker T there versus Jonathan Coachman. I am just going to be honest. And they did a tribute for Bruno Sammartino where they did a silent Ted Bell toll when they played a video package for him. I thought that was very nice. Some notable names that were there were Percy Watson, because he's probably there doing commentary for main event, and Vince McMahon, obviously, because he works backstage. I was surprised to see that Triple H wasn't there in a sense, since he kind of got Bruno Sammartino back to WWE, but I guess it is what it is. But it was very sad, obviously, what happened with Bruno Sammartino, and then make sure you guys watch the next episode of the show because we'll be reviewing the documentary of Bruno Sammartino that aired on the WWE Network this week. Then we had the first segment of the show. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman come out. And so obviously, too, everything with Bruno Sammartino gets enough. They even did tweets from various famous people like actors and obviously famous professional wrestlers. And Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman come out, and Paul Heyman talks about how they dominated Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and the same case is going to happen now. And they're wondering why Brock Lesnar re-signed his contract, because he wants his fights to feel like fights, and that's why this match at the Greatest Royal Rumble event is a steel cage match. He wanted this match, and he said that he's going to absolutely destroy Roman Reigns at the Greatest Royal Rumble. And he said he's going to destroy him to the point where they'll have to send Roman Reigns' back in pieces with multiple boxes, which I thought was a nice line. And then Roman Reigns himself comes out, and he says that he may not return the same, but he's taking Brock Lesnar's Universal Championship. And that was the end of the segment. I thought the ending was kind of lackluster because I kind of wanted to see some altercation. But overall, I still thought it was a pretty good segment. Up. Then we had the first match on the show. It was Elias versus Robert Bobby Roode. Totally awesome Mark Roode. That's the new name I'm calling him now. It's a lot of names, but whatever. And Elias tried to perform his song. He was interrupted by Robert Bobby Roode. Totally awesome Mark Roode. And then the match happened. Overall, I thought they had a decent match. Well, actually, I thought they had a good match. Elias won with a roll-up. And yeah, I found it kind of strange that they kind of brought Robert Bobby Roode, totally awesome Mark Roode, over to Raw in a big way last week by being a surprise tag team partner, and he's just losing already in his first match. So I thought that was odd. But obviously, Elias is a pretty big heel on Raw, so I was okay with that, I guess. And then the Deleters of World are backstage, and they cut a promo, which I thought was a nice promo. How they're going to win the Raw tag team titles and how Woken Matt Hardy represents the light when it comes to this tag team, and Bray Wyatt represents darkness, and they're going to take out the Ascension. This was a good promo. Up. Then we had the Ascension versus the Deleter of Worlds. I like this match just because I like watching the Deleter of Worlds as a team, and they win when they hit a Twist of Fate wheelbarrow for the win, and obviously that was the finish. Obviously I enjoyed this match. Well, I didn't really enjoy the match as much, but I enjoy seeing the Deleter Worlds as a team, so this gets it up. And then we had the Kevin Sammy show with Kurt Angle. This was an absolute great segment. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were talking about how now they're back on Monday Night Raw, and we found out that the reason they did that is because Stephanie McMahon wanted to stick it to Kurt Angle after beating him at WrestleMania, and they went out and they even mock Kurt Angle when he comes out by singing his "You Suck" song in a mocking way, and they even mock how he forgot his kid's name and mentioned that he had 6 kids, and I thought it was some very funny stuff. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn said that they should treat him like a hot commodity. Kurt Angle then says that you guys need to be worried about the Greatest Royal Rumble because we have people like myself, Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon, and Chris Jericho wanted to get their hands on you. And then he makes a tag team match, Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I thought this was a good segment. Up. And then Seth Rollins is backstage, and Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas want to join up with them and do a Shield 2.0, but Rollins isn't having it. I thought it was a funny segment. Up. Then we had Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews with Dana Brooke ringside versus Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. Drew McIntyre has new theme music now. It's still a good song, but I liked his NXT theme better. And they end up squashing O'Neil and Crews when they hit Crews with the running Claymore zigzag combination. And Dolph Ziggler then talks about how he's never had any help from anybody backstage in the locker room, and now he's finally got someone that's going to finally get him places. And Drew McIntyre talks about how nobody back there has the passion and drive that I do to be successful. I thought this was one hell of a promo, and I love the team between Ziggler and McIntyre. So this segment, you obviously guessed it, gets an up. And then we had Kurt Angle backstage, and Chad Gable was asking him how Jason Jordan's doing. So that seems like they're setting the plans for Jason Jordan Chad Gable feud, which I wouldn't mind seeing, I guess. And Kurt Angle says that he's doing good, but I didn't sign you to be in a tag team with Jason Jordan. I signed you to be a singles guy. Jinder Mahal comes up and makes fun of him, thinks that he's Nicholas from WrestleMania 34. But so this Chad Gable challenges him to a match. Kurt Angle makes the match. This segment was dumb, down. Then we had Jinder Mahal with Sunil Sin versus Chad Gable. Mahal attacks him before the match. The match was bad, but it's any Jinder Mahal match. They're all bad, except on rare occasions. Jordan wins with a roll-up, and I just didn't care. This was a waste of time. Down. The Wyatt Squad cut an interview that said they had a Monday Night Raw to as gas chambers or something. I don't know. This wasn't a very good segment down. Samoa Joe cuts a promo talking about how questioning if he's going to have an opponent at Backlash. If Brock Lesnar destroys his opponent at the Greatest Royal Rumble event. I thought Samoa Joe was great on the mic here. Up. So then Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel want to join up with the Miz with Finn Balor as the club, and Finn Balor says no. I thought segment was decently funny. Up. Then we had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman. I thought this was the best thing of Raw. This was a really good match. Up. Owens and Zayn get the heat on Lashley, but then eventually Strowman gets the hot tag, and he fucking killed Zayn and Owens in this match. He fucking took Kevin Owens' head off with the clothesline and the dropkick multiple times, and then he throws Zayn halfway across the win. Lashley gets tagged in, hits the brain buster on Zayn, or the standing forever vertical suplex, and then Strowman gets tagged in, hits a running power slam for the win. This was awesome. Up. I thought everybody looked great here. And then we were supposed to have Baron Corbin versus No Way Jose. This segment gets a down. I didn't care about it. No Way Jose is trying to have fun, but Baron Corbin, because he sucks the life out of everything when he's there, sucks the life out of the fun. Doesn't want to show up because he's afraid that one of the Conda members is going to attack him and cost him the match. So then he leaves. No Way Jose calls him to the ring. And then, no, the way Jose says he's not going to let him move in his fun. He has fun. And then Corbin attacks him from behind. And he just looked like a geek. Down. A moment of bliss. Alexa Bliss talks about how Nia Jax, how she tried to help this woman. How Alexa Bliss tried to help this woman that was starving. So she was going to give her like her burrito bowl or something. And Nia Jax just took it and ate it right in front of her. So she tried to make Nia Jax look like a bully. This storyline just sucks, so this gets it down. Prince Nevin and Finn Balor versus Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. Nevin and Dallas win. I didn't care. Down. This was used to set up the ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. And then we had Natalya, Ember Moon, Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Nia Jax backstage. And Natalya's rallying all the teammates together, and Nia Jax says that she's going to take everybody out. Bayley and Sasha give this look to each other like they don't trust each other. This segment made no sense. Down, they didn't even do anything with it in the match. So then we had the main event of Raw. Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, and the Wyatt Squad versus Bayley, Ember Moon, Natalya, Sasha Banks, and Nia Jax. This match only main evented because the woman can't go to Saudi Arabia, so they plugged the woman out as much as they could on this week on television. I don't really care to talk about this, so I'm just going to talk about the finish. Alexa Bliss definitely did get some implants. That's been very well known because she didn't really take many bumps in this match. What I didn't like in this match was they announced during the match that Alexa Bliss had invoked her rematch clause against Nia Jax while a match was going on. So I got like that stupid text on my phone. That was dumb. Down. This match, I'll give it a thumbs in the middle because of the finish. But Nia Jax dives on everybody, and Natalya had gotten her leg taken out by Sarah Logan. So Mickie James kept attacking her. Ronda Rousey comes out to make the save. Ronda Rousey at drop kicks. Mickie James drop kicks Ronda Rousey, and then Ronda Rousey comes in and breaks Mickie James' arm. And yeah, that was great. I thought Ronda Rousey looked very good here. And yeah, this was the ending was good, but I didn't really like the match itself. It just kind of felt there. They didn't do anything with Bayley or Sasha Banks. I think that feud just I don't even know what that is anymore. So yeah. But yeah, overall, this segment, this Monday Night Raw, I actually thought was a good show. A lot of people didn't like Raw this week, but I actually liked Raw this week. I thought it was actually a good show, and yeah, if I had to rate it out of 10, I'll give it a 7. I thought it was a good show. I mean, I definitely will admit that this felt like a filler show because they mainly just plugged the Greatest Royal Rumble event on this show, but I enjoyed other stuff on this show. All right, now let's get to SmackDown from April 24th, 2018. We had Corey Graves, Tom Phillips, and Byron Saxton on commentary. We were supposed to have a Miz TV segment with Daniel Bryan, but instead, Daniel Bryan never comes out. His music goes off and everything, and then the Big Cass comes out instead. And we find out that the reason he attacked Daniel Bryan was because he was cleared around the same time Daniel Bryan was, but he got more attention. Daniel Bryan got more attention than he did, and he always has had to live under the shadow of small guys. And I actually like this promo here. A lot of people didn't like it, but I liked it here. I liked the context of the feud, and I enjoyed it. I really wish, though, they would have just done a simpler storyline where Big Cass and The Miz were working together, and The Miz paid Big Cass to take out Daniel Bryan. I will admit that would have been a better storyline, but this storyline really isn't bad either. And then we go backstage where Asuka and Becky Lynch are going to the match, and we see that Daniel Bryan's been laid out, so that's whatever. But this segment all gets enough. I thought Big Cass was really strong on the mic on this show. Then we got the Iconics versus Asuka and Becky Lynch. This match gets it down. The Iconics do like some weird segment where they make fun of Asuka and Becky Lynch that was just very cringy. And this match is a lose-lose anyways because Asuka and Becky Lynch shouldn't lose because Asuka losing just means it doesn't make her streak broken all that special. And the Iconics are new to SmackDown, so they shouldn't be losing. So this match really shouldn't be happening at all. But instead, Becky Lynch ate the fall when Billie Kay rolled her up while holding the ropes. The only thing I don't understand is why is this match happening at all? And now Asuka, what was the point of breaking Asuka's streak? Now she just feels like every woman on the roster down. Renee Young's backstage. AJ Styles comes out and reveals that there's a 6-man tag team match where it's going to be Shinsuke Nakamura, Aiden English, and Rusev versus him and his club members, which is obviously the club. So I like this up. Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega vignette. I'm looking forward to seeing them. So this obviously I liked up. Then Naomi and the Usos were backstage, and Naomi doesn't want Jimmy Uso getting hurt because she's worried about him. This segment's lame. Down. Rowan with Harper versus Jimmy Uso with Jey Uso. This match was way overbooked. Rowan's destroying Jimmy Uso, and then eventually Naomi's entrance goes off. This distracts the Bludgeon Brothers, and Jimmy Uso rolls him up Rowan for the win, and they still play Naomi's theme song. I don't know why they're setting up this feud, because Naomi can't even get involved at the Greatest Royal Rumble event since no women are going to be there, and I also don't really understand why Rowan even lost to begin with, because the Bludgeon Brothers are monsters. They should be fucking destroying everybody, and now they've lost. So this gets it down. SmackDown Women's Championship contract signing filler down. Not talking about it. Dasha Fuentes backstage, and Aiden English opens the door and says no interviews. That was funny. Up. Shelton Benjamin versus, we would thought Jeff Hardy, but instead it was Randy Orton. And they had a nice little match. Sunil Sin clips Jeff Hardy's knee. Benjamin hits the pay dirt on Orton for the win because of this distraction, because Orton laid out Sunil Sin with the RKO. I didn't really understand this. This was also way overbooked. Down. The New Day backstage, and the bar comes up and starts a feud with them, and whatever. It was okay. Thumbs in the middle. AJ Styles backstage. It was cool to see him and Gallows and Anderson together. Up. And then we had Sanity vignette. I liked the vignette. Up. Daniel Bryan interview. Daniel Bryan, I thought was very well on the mic here. Up. He says he's facing Big Cass at Backlash, which I guess isn't my ideal match for what I want to see from Daniel Bryan, but it is what it is. Samoa Joe promo. He talks about how he's going to win the Intercontinental Championship in the ladder match and beat up Roman Reigns at Backlash if he has an opponent. And then we had the main event. It was the Club versus Rusev, Aiden English, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura beats Gallows with the Kinshasa. And then afterwards, Styles tries to attack him. Nakamura low blows him. And then he tries to hit a Kinshasa on him. Carl Anderson takes the bullet for him. And then he forces AJ Styles to watch as Nakamura hits a Kinshasa on him. I enjoyed this overall. I thought it was great. I really enjoy the new heel Nakamura. I forgot to mention he has a new theme song now because he doesn't want the fans chanting for his name. I enjoyed that a lot, actually. So, yeah, overall SmackDown I thought was a decent show, 6 out of 10. I think SmackDown, what made it worse was it just felt like that really was filler, and it really didn't feel like anything mattered. So, yeah. As for 205 Live, the whole show was really based around that gauntlet match to determine who's going to face Cedric Alexander at the Greatest Royal Rumble event in Saudi Arabia. So the two guys that started it were Mustafa Ali and TJP. Mustafa Ali, after having a decent match, beats him with the 054. And then Drew Gulak comes out next, and he beats Mustafa Ali with the Gulak after Mustafa Ali's just been destroyed. And then Tony Nese comes out. He beats up Drew Gulak, but Gulak catches him with the Gulak after Tony Nese refuses to put him away. And then we had Kalisto versus Gulak. Kalisto beats him with the Salida del Sol. I actually enjoyed the gauntlet match. I thought it was a really good match. This was pretty much the same match, though, we saw on Raw when they did the Elimination Chamber gauntlet match. And they did some interviews like with Tony Nese and Cedric Alexander afterwards to kind of promote their stuff. But I actually was okay with Kalisto winning because, one, it's not like whoever wins this match was going to win the title anyways. And I think Kalisto versus Cedric Alexander would be a really good match. And I think if you think about it, out of all the cruiserweights, Kalisto's probably the guy they're going to know the most since he's been on the main roster for a little longer than everybody else has. So I thought that made sense. And now that I've kind of went through that, I'm going to go through the Royal Rumble predictions. So let me announce something. I have not seen this show. I don't know anything that happened, so it's not cheating. I didn't look up ahead of time, so I'll just make sure I make that known right now. So I'm predicting this as if it hasn't happened already. And I'm also pushing the championship match up between me and Hollywood Tut because when we both sent our text to each other, I was just going to say it here. It really wouldn't have mattered who would. We ended up tying, and the rules are that if it's a tie, the champion retains, and it really isn't fair that John isn't here to give his own predictions himself. So I'm just going to hold off the predictions until Backlash, hold off the championship match until Backlash, and so at Backlash, it's going to be me versus John versus Hollywood Tut, but on this show, it's going to be this show. I just had to get the nicknames. It's going to be Stain versus Big Dottie Cool, and the winner will be the #1 contender to the Wrestling Rundown Championship at Money in the Bank. And obviously, if I lose my championship at Backlash, I'll invoke my rematch clause at NXT TakeOver Chicago. So 2. So that's going to be what's going to happen there. But let me go through. So I'm going to go through the predictions. I'm going to start first with Steve, and I'm just going to say them all at once, too. I'm not going to kind of go one by one. But I'm going to start first with Chris's picks. The rules, too, with Chris's pick is this Chris and Steve tie. Then we'll do a trivia match, and whoever wins trivia will get the championship match at Money in the Bank. So let's say Chris's picks. So for John Cena versus Triple H, he picks John Cena. For the WWE Universal Championship match, Steel Cage match. For the Steel Cage match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, WWE Universal Champion Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. He predicts that Roman Reigns will win the championship. For the Fatal 4-Way match for the Intercontinental Championship match, which is a ladder match between champion Seth Rollins, Prince Devitt, The Miz, and Samoa Joe. He picks Seth Rollins. For the WWE Championship match between WWE Champion AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, he picks AJ Styles. For the United States Championship match between Jeff Hardy and Jinder Mahal, he picks Jeff Hardy to retain the championship. For the vacant Raw Tag Team Championship match, The Ball versus the Deleters of World, he picks the Deleters of World. For the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match between the champions, the Bludgeon Brothers, and the Usos, he picks the Bludgeon Brothers. For the Cruiserweight Championship match between champion Cedric Alexander and Kalisto, he picks Cedric Alexander. For the casket match between Undertaker and Rusev, he picks Undertaker. And for the Greatest Royal Rumble match itself, 50 men, you get 3 picks. He picks Daniel Bryan, Braun Strowman, and Kurt Angle. And for Steve's picks, So I already said the matches. He picks Daniel Bryan, Braun Strowman, or Chris Jericho to win the Greatest Royal Rumble. He picks Roman Reigns to win the Universal Championship. He picks Roman Reigns to win the Universal Championship. He picks I just had to turn that off. So let me say it again. So for Steve's picks, he picks either Daniel Bryan, Braun Strowman, or Chris Jericho to win the Greatest Royal Rumble. He picks Roman Reigns to win the Universal Championship. He picks Seth Rollins to retain his Intercontinental Championship. He picks Shinsuke Nakamura to win the WWE Championship. He picks Jeff Hardy to win he picks Jeff Hardy to retain the United States Championship. He picks the Deleters of Woe to win the Raw Tag Team titles, the Bludgeon Brothers to retain the SmackDown Tag Team titles, Cedric Alexander to retain the Cruiserweight title, John Cena to beat Triple H, The Undertaker to beat Rusev. So the only match that's different between Steve and Chris is the WWE Championship match. So either AJ retains, Chris wins and faces the champion at Money in the Bank, or Shinsuke Nakamura wins the title and faces me at it faces the champion at Money in the Bank. Here's my picks now. I won't go into detail about it, but my picks for the Greatest Royal Rumble match are Daniel Bryan, Braun Strowman, or Chris Jericho. I pick Brock Lesnar to retain the Universal Championship, Seth Rollins to retain the Intercontinental Championship, AJ Styles to retain the WWE Championship by disqualification, Jeff Hardy to retain the United States Championship, the Deleters of Worlds to win the Raw Tag Team titles, the Bludgeon Brothers to retain the SmackDown Tag Team titles, Cedric Alexander to retain the Cruiserweight title, and John Cena to beat Triple H and Undertaker to beat Rusev. And that's all the topics I have for this show. I know it was a very quick show, but I got a little gas because I've been doing videos for the past hour or so, so that's how it is. But that's pretty much it, guys. I'll probably have my live reactions up for the Greatest Royal Rumble event at 8 o'clock because I have to wait for a phone call, and I don't want the phone call to mess up my viewing experience of the show. So I'm going to do it then. And also, I just did a ton of videos, so I want to wait until my voice is a little refreshed and stuff. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video for more content. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content and click on the bell so that way every time I upload a video you guys will get the notifications for it. Make sure you guys do the same thing for the CM Brothers and all on the Talking Native channels. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.